3, 4, 5. Alright, well, I want to thank you guys for coming here today. Today I'm giving a speech on a celebration, a special event, and today I'm going to talk about life, birth, children, everything that's really important. So I think a lot of you guys can relate to that, having kids, being kids. So I'm going to start out with the birth of my son. Today I will be speaking to everyone about a person that deserves to be celebrated, a person that deserves to be honored and cherished. I will be speaking about my son Timothy. Let's go back about 14 years to begin with. I was about 26 weeks pregnant. It was a very cold Minnesota day, like it usually is in January. I decided it was time to go get a crib. So my sister and I took off and we went up to Sioux Falls. We went to this cute little store. It was called Once Upon a Child. And I found a crib. I wanted to wait until I was at least 26 weeks pregnant because I had problems with previous pregnancies, with miscarriages and things like that. So I found this really pretty crib. Of course, I couldn't leave after buying a crib. There was this really cute Vikings outfit there, and I had to get it for him. I'm a Minnesota gal, and my kids have to be Vikings fans. So I picked that up, and my sister and I think we found a couple other things, and we went out to eat. We went to Wendy's, and I still, to this day, blame most of the story on Wendy's, because we didn't have a Wendy's in Worthington, where I was from. So it was that junior bacon cheeseburger that kind of set the whole thing off. We start off heading back home to Worthington, which is about an hour drive from Sioux Falls, and I start getting uncomfortable. Cramps, I couldn't sit very well in the car the whole ride. But the whole time I'm thinking, everything's fine. I go to the doctor a lot. They say, it's normal. Everything's fine. So I get back to my apartment and still in a lot of pain, but I decide to carry the crib up the steps, get up there, start putting the crib together. Probably about a half hour into it, I decided, gosh, I probably should go in. So I called my aunt. She drove me up to the clinic. I sat out in the waiting room probably for about 15 minutes, I think, and finally got into the exam room. The doctor shows up, and I still think he's going to say, you're fine, go home, get some rest, and we'll see you in about 14 weeks when, your son's ready to be here. And so he comes in and he gives me the exam, and he just had this look of horror on his face. And I knew right then something was wrong. 26 weeks, you don't think you're about to celebrate the life of your child. 26 weeks, you're thinking, I got about 14 more weeks of being able to sleep without, my child waking me up every couple hours. But no, I was completely dilated. He was breech. I remember the doctor put me in a wheelchair right away, and we went through all these windy hallways. It was kind of like a dungeon. It was underneath the hospital, and it was kind of strange. And I mean, it's just really picture perfect in my mind. And then I remember waking up. I don't remember going to sleep. I don't remember anything. I remember waking up, and I felt this feeling of loss, and I knew I wasn't pregnant anymore. And then the fear really started to kick in because, he'd been safe for 26 weeks. Well, the doctor comes in and he says, I got to let you know that your son was born, and while he was born, he was actually dead. We brought him back to life. He is going to be airlifted to Sioux Falls, and we're going to bring him in here in a little bit to see you. They bring him in, and he's in this huge, it was huge, looked like a big plastic container, and he was sitting in there, and I couldn't get up high enough because I had just had an emergency C-section, and I couldn't get up high enough, and they took him away. 4 days later, I finally get released from the hospital, and I go up to Sioux Falls, and the roads were bad. I don't know. I think everybody here knows the Minnesota winters are just not fun in January. So I go up, and I finally get to see him, and, this little child can fit in the palm of your hand. He Is that still going to record if it goes in sleep mode? Okay, sorry. You know, he could fit in the palm of your hand, and he was just the most beautiful baby I have ever seen in my life. So let's move ahead a few more years. We are now about 2 years old in this picture, and of course, I think it was the Vikings stuff that I bought him when he was younger that in this picture he has a football. So, and then we'll go ahead a few more years. Here, he is in 7th grade, 13 years old already. We went from heart monitors, oxygen tanks, cords, wires, to now the only thing attached to this boy for cords is from his Xbox or his cell phone. He has a 4.2 GPA. He's the most brilliant child that I know. Everything is fine with him. He's doing perfect. And when I was asked to give this speech on someone to celebrate, I couldn't imagine thinking of talking about anybody else. So what I want to leave everybody with is that life is so precious. Life should always be celebrated. You know, whether you're a mother, a father, you're a child, you have siblings, just cherish every moment, and every single person that's in your life deserves to be celebrated, deserves to have a moment like my son just had with me speaking about him. So with that, I kind of want to leave everything open for questions or comments, clarification on anything from anybody in the audience.
I do have a question. How long was he in the hospital?
He was born on January 4th. He was actually due April 15th. He came home, I believe it was May 12th. No, March 12th, I'm sorry. So he actually got up to 5 pounds faster than what he probably would have been if he was inside of me. There was a scary moment once where his grandma was holding him when we finally did get to hold him, and she turned wrong and actually pulled the respirator out. And I think that kind of made him be a little bit more of a fighter, you know. Now he plays on the line in football, and, you know, there's really nothing wrong with him. So. All right, well, thank you guys for taking your time out of the day and to listen to the speech, and, you know, just remember, cherish everybody that you have in your life, because everybody deserves to be celebrated. Thank you.